Good morning. You are watching Kwak TV because why watch crap TV where you can watch Kwak TV? Simple as that. With me, Callum the K. And if you are watching this live, make sure you jump in the comments for me. Tell me good morning, who you are, what you're doing, what you're drinking. And honestly, if you're also watching some replay, please put a hashtag replay so I know who stalks me. I do like to know. You can also be catching this on either my Facebook page, which is where you can share it far and wide, which is Kwak Talks. You can also catch it to my Facebook group, The Duck Pond. If you're not in there, make sure you go and join it. Or you can be catching this on YouTube or LinkedIn. God, that's a mouthful to spiel out this early in a bloody morning, isn't it? So I've got a fabulous guest today, and we're going to be talking cocktails, alcohol cocktails, and more. You know, that's the main bit I just need to really throw in, because that's the bit that's just going to entice everyone, isn't it? You know? So, just let me have a beverage, bear with me. So, how are we all? It's Friday. It's the end of the week. We made it. It's the end of the week. So, how are we all doing? Do you know what I'm going to do this morning? Because I'm feeling like it. I'm going to go and just share this far and bloody wide, just because I bloody can. Good morning, Mr. Ernie Boxall. I thought I was watching Good Morning Britain, but this is much better. That's what I like to hear, Ernie. Oh, Ernie, go and share this far and wide from my Facebook page, Kwak Talks, just like I'm about to do, because I'm going to do it this morning, because this guest deserves it. Every guest deserves it, but this one in particular. So, where can I go? And I don't want to listen to myself. Where am I going to share this? We're going to share this here. Oh, I can hear myself speaking. How are we? Make sure we're saying good morning to me. What are we up to today? I do like to know. So today we have Bethan Trevett. There we go, people. There we go. I don't ever do that in the morning. Honestly, I find it as a bit of a distraction. So yes, it is Friday. So how are we all doing? I've had a great week. Launched my podcast, Quackcast has now launched, both spelt with a K, of course, which is really, really cool. So please make sure and go check that out. It's on Spotify, it's on Anchor FM, it's on other platforms. It's really, really cool. And the first episode is saying why business plans are a load of bollocks. So make sure you go check out that first episode of my podcast for me. I'd really appreciate it. I really, really hope you take something from that. But before I bring today's guest on, as we know, every morning on Kwak TV, I like to do my normal spiel of different days of the year. I like it for a bit of inspiration for social media. And I also go through some Twitter hashtags, plus one or two other things as well. So today, your days of the day of the year, shall we say, is actually International Tug of War Day. Do you remember that? Like where you used to pull the rope when like you could actually be near people. Yeah. So it's actually International Tug of War Day. People, get your mind out the gutter. It is also Chocolate Mint Day. Chocolate Mint Day, that is awesome. It is also, remember, Random Acts of Kindness Week, which is on till tomorrow. What could you do this week or today and tomorrow for a random act of kindness? It was actually Random Act of Kindness Day yesterday or the day before, but it is Random Act of Kindness Week. So what can you do for a random act of kindness this week? I'd really like to know what people have done this week for the random act of kindness. And then your trending hashtags on Twitter today are as follows. Today it is hashtag Friday Feeling. Friday Feeling is also hashtag Friday Morning. It is also hashtag Friday Motivation. It is also, is there anything else? I think that might be it actually. Oh yeah, we'll go with that. So it is hashtag Friday Feeling, hashtag Friday Morning, hashtag Friday Motivation. Make sure you use them hashtags at your own free will, people, wherever you want to use them. So if you are just tuning in, make sure you jump in the comments, tell me who you are, tell me what you're doing, tell me what you're drinking, say good morning to me. I am feeling it today. I've got my hat on, got my turtleneck on. I am feeling it. I was going to make a very rude joke then, but I won't make that. So today, my guest that I have got on the show is a lovely, lovely lady. And we haven't known each other very long, but that's all I need. That's all I need to make a connection with someone. They are beautiful. They're beautiful inside and out. And really, they're just obsessed with alcohol, which is what, that sounds really bad, which is also what I absolutely love. But they believe in many, many other things as well, such as like new opportunities and so on. So today, with no further ado, I hope my guest is ready. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, my love? How are you?
Very well. I'm sat in front of a window, so I look a bit like pale, but it's nice because I can see the rainy Swansea Bay. It's lovely.
Oh, do you live in Swansea? I didn't know that.
I do, yeah. Can you not tell from my accent?
Yeah, do you know what? I can, but I didn't really place like where you. Yeah. Anyway, so how have you been? How's your week been this week so far, Beth?
My
Beth or
week's
Bethan?
been, Beth. Beth, I prefer. Most people call me Trev, but you can call me Beth.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been good. I've just been doing lots of networking. I had a couple of workshops, and just been trying to do some random acts of kindness because it's a nice little reminder, isn't it?
It really, really is. So, Beth, just in case people don't know who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Beth, and I run the Wonder Bar, which is a pop-up bar service based in South Wales, but covering all of the UK and beyond. We kind of specialise in local beers and spirits, and normally we do the bars for weddings and events and festivals, but obviously that's not happening at the moment. So we're doing virtual cocktail workshops and virtual wine tastings, which is really good fun, and it's just nice to get everyone together from all round, really.
But this is really cool because obviously we was chatting yesterday or the day before, and I was saying to you, obviously, what has this made possible? What's everything going on made possible? What's new? What's come out of it? And he said like doing the cocktail parties and the wine tastings online, which is awesome because that's such a cool spin to do on what you do. And obviously, I take it people that were in different households could all jump on the same Zoom together and do it all together and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely bloody love it. So obviously when I get everyone on this show, I do ask them, to give me a bit of a rundown of what's going on, etc. So obviously, how does it work? We'll go with the cocktail class. How does it work? What do you actually get them to do?
So I get them either on a call or over email, have a little chat and just kind of discuss what people's favourite cocktails are. So I might get them to choose 3 of their favourite cocktails, or I might say, what are your favourite spirits? So if they love gin, which everybody does, then we'll kind of get some gin cocktails together. Or I'll ask them what they've got in their liquor cupboard that's dusty and that's been there for ages. And I'm like, right, let's try and use it and just find something interesting to do with it. And then we choose 3 cocktails. I send them a shopping list and like a toolkit list. So things like shakers, not everybody's got a cocktail shaker at home, so you might use like a protein shaker or like a jam jar or something like that. Just find what you've got around the house, send the list over to everyone, and then we jump on a Zoom and then it's carnage sometimes.
I love it because, see, when you say like dusty spirits at the back of the cupboard, so I come from a hospitality background. I'm thinking, do you know what? It's odd time someone's been gifted a bottle of Frangelico, or they've got that bottle of Chambord at the back of the cupboard that they only use at Christmas. It's for a Kia Royale. Like, it really is. Oh shit! Yeah, I've got this stuff sat at the back. That creme de menthe. Why have you got a bottle of creme de menthe on? Or a bottle of Midori, you've got a bottle of Midori sat there and it's like, oh, it was nice for that watermelon drink in 2006. Like, yeah, let's use it, hun. Let's use it because, you've bought it and it's great. What would you say, if anything, is having your most, you might know this, your most seen thing that's left at the back of the cupboard that's quite dusty? Your most common.
You mentioned all of those. Probably Cointreau. Like, Cointreau is one of those ones that people just have, and then they're like, right, I don't know what to do with it. And it's a really strong orangey flavour.
Yeah.
So those who don't know, like, Cointreau is like an orange liqueur. It's a triple sec.
Yeah.
But it's so overwhelmingly orange, but it goes in loads of cocktails. It's the base for so many cocktails, like Long Island iced tea, Cosmo. Yeah. So yeah, I love bringing that out and being like, you could do so much with this.
Yeah, I do love Contra, and a lot of people get, like, well, what's the difference between Contra and Gramania? And I'm like, for me, I say personally, Contra is a little bit sweeter, but still really strong. That's what I personally say. It's a little bit more syrupy. Don't know if that's right. But yeah,
no, I agree. It's like, it is kind of, it's thick, isn't it? Like, it's literally viscous. Like, it's so thick, and it is really, really sweet. Gramania is kind of a bit more, it's got like those kind of spices to it slightly.
It's more like an aperitif, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's weird since I've spoke like this. I've not spoke like this for years. This is grand. I'm loving it. So no, this is really cool, and I can imagine it is absolutely carnage because when I did used to work in hospitality and I was bar manager, etc., I used to be the one that used to run the cocktail classes. So I absolutely loved it, especially if you've got a hen party, right? If it was a hen party, it's just carnage. But it was even funny for me because as soon as they caught on that I was gay, shock. There was like, oh my god, like, and there was like, come on, let's get these cocktails, and I'm like, oh come on. Like, the best thing, I used to make them all take a shot, and normally the mother-in-law or future mother-in-law didn't really like it. Because I used to be like, right, come on, everyone do a shot, up the bum no babies. And they're like, and the mum-in-law was like, she's normally the miserable bitch, isn't she? Let's be honest. So it's so what was the thing that made you, obviously, other than COVID, go, I need to rapidly change this? Obviously you could have sat around on your ass and done nothing, but you had to think about it, didn't you? And obviously change about it. And how did that go? Did you come up with the idea straight away? Did you have to plan? Did you have to process?
So do you want a story now?
Oh, go for a story. I like a good tale. Go on.
So I was coordinating a bar at a festival in Panama, and I didn't even I knew that COVID had kind of come about, not to mention the C word, but didn't really know anything about it because we were on a festival site. There was no internet there. We were just in the jungle. And the first news I heard about how UK was going into lockdown and stuff, someone came up to me and they were like, the pubs have shut. And I was like, oh my God. And I was in the process of getting a pub. I was going through the whole process of becoming a landlady for this pub, and I was just like, oh my God, well, now what? So I ended up nearly getting stuck in Panama, lost my luggage, came back and was just like, right, well, I guess I'll wait for all this to blow over, and kind of just put out some live videos for a little bit just to kind of keep everybody occupied. I was doing live tutorials and stuff on my Instagram. And then I was like, okay, I don't think that this is going back to normal. Suddenly everybody whose weddings were booked for the summer were just kind of we're having to postpone or cancel. So I was like, right, need to figure out what to do. And someone came up to me, someone messaged me, it didn't come up to me, obviously. They messaged me and they said, can you do a virtual cocktail workshop? We were supposed to have a stag do and we can't do anything. And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't see why not. Oh, he's gone. So I don't know what to do now. Am I still there? So yeah, I just started doing cocktail workshops. Now I've got no one to speak to. Is anyone there?
Keep going. You're fine. Keep going. I got panicked. I don't know what happened then at all. So,
I was like, oh, okay.
I thought that this person was coming up to you, etc. No, bear with me. Where was we up to? What was the last thing you said?
Yeah, so they messaged me, stag
there we
do, and I was like, yeah, sure, I don't see why I can't do an online workshop, and it went from there, really. I started doing private events, well, mostly just private events, so I was just kind of messaging people who I was supposed to do the weddings for, hen parties and stuff, because they were what I used to do in real life cocktail workshops with.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had to take it online, really. Everything was on Zoom anyway, so it was quite easy. But...
See, this is really cool, because if you didn't tell me that story, I wouldn't have known that you was hoping to become a pub landlady. Is that still on the cards for you?
No. It was very much we'd written a business. I know you hate business plans, but we'd written a solid business plan. We were just.
I don't hate them. Just to point that out, right? I don't hate them, but carry on.
I'll have to listen to it, see what you say. But yeah, just we'd put a lot of time and effort. It was me and my best mate. We put a lot of time and effort into getting this whole pub thing going. And in the month that I was away, that just completely fell away.
Yeah.
And I kind of got a phone call from the BDM of the person who was putting through our application, and he was like, do you still want to go ahead? And I was like, no. And the reason is because I don't think hospitality is going to be the same, as awful as that sounds. And I want to stay positive, and I am positive. I know we're going to be we're going to be back in the pubs by April. That's my fingers are crossed for that. But it's not going to be the same. I don't really want to serve people wearing masks. I just think it's a bit.
Oh, I'll tell you what, right. We're going to dive into this because this is one of our biggest debates. So one of my biggest services that I've always helped with, is one of the things I've done for a very, very long period of time, is actually I got into coaching, but in particular my business analyst service, from working with hospitality establishments. I can promise you it will make a comeback. Is it going to be straight away? No. It's not going to be straight away, but it will, because it's one of the, if not the biggest industry in the whole of the UK. The whole. Like you just said, you took it serious when people went, the pubs are shut. And then everyone's kind of gone, British people have closed the pubs. Like, this is fucking serious. Yeah. So it will make a comeback. I can honestly, hand on my heart, I will make that promise to you. It will make a comeback. Wait till summer. You wait till summer when we're all like, you know what, being stuck in. Let's go. Yeah, carnage, Weatherspoons, eat your heart out. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get the what they call a Blue Lagoon drug. That's not a fucking Blue Lagoon. Let's get yeah, it's just blue lemonade. Good morning, Mr. Fenton. Good morning, Miss Chelsea White. So yeah, it will make a comeback, and I'm honestly making that pledge. And I've said it to a lot of people. My partner, he actually sometimes works in a pub as well. He just enjoys it on top of his normal job, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think it'll be the same." I was like, "It won't at first. That's the be all and end all, but
it'll be slow." But it'll be. If you ask anybody, like, what do you miss the most about lockdown? Like, what's your ideal day? Everybody just wants to go for lunch, go to the pub, meet up with their friends, like, and it's something that we as British people have just missed so much. Like, there's a reason that a pub stands for public house. It's just it's a place where everybody goes, and it's such a sense of community. Even though people are drinking less nowadays, the alcohol aspect doesn't really matter. It's just the whole community,
the social aspect,
being with your mates. Yeah,
I can't wait. And I think actually probably with the people watching this and watching this on replay later, they will be like, because for me, I'd love a night out. I'd love to go for a drink in a local pub. But what I miss more is just going out for a meal. That's my people have always asked, especially with Dom Fenton on the call, the activity connector. My hobby, if I honestly would class it as one, is dining out. Like, that is my hobby. I normally do it one night a week at least. Like, I love eating out, pun intended. So on that note, let's get away from the doom and gloom. So obviously, when you're doing these cocktail classes with people, you said that, you send them the recipe list. You get them to make like the syrups themselves and things like that, because, you want them to get like the best quality, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So I've been making my own syrups for years. Like, I do a lot of foraging. So I would make like lavender syrups and rosemary syrups, and just kind of like try and create different seasonal cocktails with all of these ingredients. And so for a while I was selling those at like farmers markets and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse, I think, than those like morning syrups, other sugar brands are available. But like, those really like artificial sugar syrups that are just full of E numbers and like God knows what. And like, all right, sugar's not good for you, but you can make sweet syrups out of loads of stuff. So I use honey most of the time. I pretend that I'm healthy by having honey instead of sugar in my coffee. Like agave nectar, and you can just like play, and it costs pennies, and it takes like 5 minutes to say a sugar syrup. So I'm just like, make it yourself.
Honestly, so it's when I used to work. It was actually the last like bar I worked in. We used to make all our own sugar syrups. Like, but what I was really shocked with when I started working there, because a lot of these, like you're saying, they have the morning syrups and the funkins and so on and so on. And it's like, okay, it's fine, it does the job, and all the basic white girls like it. They love the sex on the beach. So it's we made our own sugar syrups, and one of the ones that we made that I found we made a demerara sugar syrup. Because a lot of our cocktails, we had the white sugar syrup and we had the brown sugar syrup. And then we used to do the others. And I was shocked because obviously I worked in a lot of places with cocktails, but a lot of it was the funkins, the morning syrup, so on and so on. The difference a demerara sugar syrup makes to a cocktail is unreal. It adds like a miniature kind of like burnt taste, but like sweet burnt. It's like really bizarre.
It's like caramelly, isn't it? Like, it has like a richness of flavor. Like, I love using demerara sugar syrup for espresso martinis. That's
what we used it in. Yep.
Yeah, and it just makes such a difference, because you would have brown sugar in coffee, so why not have brown sugar syrup in espresso martini?
Have you ever put coffee tequila in an espresso martini?
Yeah, the Patron.
Oh, the Patron XO. Oh my Christ.
That stuff is delightful. It
So
sounds weird.
Some people turn their nose up at putting Baileys in an espresso martini. The odd person does. But I really like it. For me, it adds it a little bit of creamy as well. So, I had Couleur espresso Couleur. What was the one I just said? Baileys.
So Baileys.
And Patron XO. Dem sugar. Honestly, it's strong as shit. But it is a fucking good espresso martini. Like, absolutely exceptional. But I remember when I went to this bar in Liverpool once, and it was I think it was Turtle Base. I was expecting a real basic, other restaurants are available. It was a real basic one. Once again, with morning syrups, etc. And you drink something, you're like, this is not an espresso martini. Like I was like, I don't want to be a snob. I don't want to be a snob.
Yeah, I'm such a snob when it comes to cocktails. I go in and I'm like, I'm looking at what everybody else is ordering, and if I see, like, I remember going into a bar once and they were stirring an espresso martini. You cannot stir an espresso martini. It's got to be shaken. That's how you get that lovely crema. It was.
Where's the creme going?
I was just. Can I just have a beer actually, preferably out of the bottle. I don't even want to drink your draft, but there's so many different things that you can do, and it's really easy. My favorite like homemade cocktail ingredient is coffee liqueur. So I love Kahlua. I think Kahlua is just the best to make espresso martinis with. But yeah, it's really easy to make your own coffee liqueur, and you can make it in minutes as well.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely great. But do you know what I do love? So I have my own recipe for a zombie as well. Because everyone has their own interpretation for a zombie cocktail, right? Christ, we're talking about zombie cocktails at 5 to 10 in the morning. So it's zombie cocktails. I have my own rendition, and honestly, it's fucking beautiful. Because obviously, a typical zombie will have, most of the time, personally, I think about 7 different rums. Not 7 full shots, but it'll have 7 different rums in it. And mine's quite a lot of spiced ones, but also like a real, like, I don't really like Ray and Nephew. I think it's a bit boring. Like, I get it. It's smooth, but it's boring. And I'm like, I'm not really a massive fan of it. But honestly, my zombies can make a cracking porn star martini as well. But to me, I'm like, how can you make a porn star martini wrong?
Yeah, I definitely tasted some wrong ones.
Yeah.
But that's the UK's favourite cocktail at the moment, apparently, porn star.
I think Long Island's not far after it, is it?
It wouldn't surprise me. Like, I think, especially in the UK, like, it's just full of booze, right? And that's what people love.
Yeah, and do you know the amount of times I've seen people drink a Long Island iced tea where they've put the straws in, obviously, and they're drinking it. All they're drinking is the Coke. Then the white spirits all get to the bottom and they go, they're just drinking like 6 different pure white spirits. And you're like, come on, man. Like, it looks pretty for your Instagram picture. Then just mix it. Like, just churn it a little bit. Get them spirit. Oh, Christ. Anyway, bear with me. Right, so I've got Chelsea White saying, I miss being able to go for a coffee out of lockdown. I just take my laptop to do admin in a Costa for a change of scene. Completely agree. But because you're going to Costa, I'm going to disown you. Go to Nero and have some real fucking coffee. Grow up.
Independent coffee shop.
Yeah, go to an independent. They are more important. But if you're going to go to a chain, go to Nero at least. Or if you've got money, go to Starbucks. Good morning, Mr. Dan Holmes. He's saying hello to me and you. So good morning, Mr. Dan Holmes. So, this is I very rarely get to talk about I will say my heritage, my hospitality heritage, because that is where I come from. That is, my passion is coaching, but that actually stemmed from hospitality and catering. And, I absolutely love it. I have a dream venue that's actually local to me that I'd love. And I ended up actually working there at one point, but I've always wanted it. Don't get me wrong, the owners are absolute knobs. But, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it because it does everything. It's got a B&B, it does events, it's got a restaurant, it's got a bar. It's on the seafront. Like, it's got everything. So anyone from my local area will know this venue. So, it's awesome. So I love talking about hospitality. I was speaking to Kim Martin Brown the other day, lovely, lovely lady. And I was talking to her about it because she makes her own spirits. Oh. And she does, it's like a white spirit, but she has one that's got notes of like what you get from pizza.
What?
It's like basil, tomato. So yeah, it's notes you get from pizza, black peppercorns, but it's not a gin, it's just a white spirit. Oh, it's exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. But sir, Beth, if people are wanting to get one of these cocktail classes with you, which I think maybe after we've just shown our passion for cocktails, they might want to, either that or just alcoholics. How can they get in touch with you? Wonderbar, isn't it? They can find you several places, can't they?
We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, although I'm not very good at Twitter, I'll be honest.
Not very good.
Facebook. You can find us online, www.thewonderbar.co.uk. So if you type in on Facebook and Instagram, The Wonderbar UK, and it's 3 separate words, then you will find us. And it's the English spelling as well, not the German spelling. and it's not Wonder Bra. Other bras are available.
Oh, brass Arabic. I love you so.
Anyone who's over the age of like 35 is like, oh yeah, good name. Good support. And I'm like, oh yeah.
I love you so much. Do you know what, though? I'm going to get you back on the show for a part 2 because we was also going to eventually touch on social injustice, new opportunities, harm reduction. You know, we was going to touch on a lot of shit today. But we've got to talk about cocktails. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you back on for a part 2. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing.
Great. Well, don't run off anywhere. I'm just going to kick you backstage and we'll have a good old natter. How does that sound?
For having me. No worries. Sounds good.
All right, love to speak to you, Petal. Speak to you soon. Bye. Oh, I love that girl. Honestly, she's absolutely fabulous. Sir, you have been watching Kwak TV because why watch Crap TV where you can watch Kwak TV? And if we have not set the thirst for a cocktail this evening or this weekend, we've not done our jobs. We have not done our jobs. So make sure you tune in next week where I've got a fabulous array of guests. Make sure you keep an eye out for my promo to see who is coming on the show. And basically have a lovely weekend, have a lovely day. And if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.